You're stuck here. So my name is DeWin Nelson. I'm on the Hurricane Chamber board, past president for a couple of years. They still haven't kicked me off the board. I don't know why, but I enjoy being here, enjoy being a part of this chamber. Great group here today. This is awesome. Pat, these people are here to see you and hear you. So, well, that too. I'll give you a little bit of credit, a little bit. No, but thank you. So, DeWin Nelson, board member, past president. Can we get our board members to stand up now so I don't forget? I don't think it's on my list. So these are our board members. Thank you to these guys. Without them, we couldn't do it. Great group. We have way too much fun, more than we should. So sometimes we actually get some work done too. So we need, Lana's over there working, but I think she has on the agenda. She doesn't put herself on the agenda. Lana, stand up. She's the one that keeps us in line, and that's a full-time job, I guarantee you. So we have Mary Ann over there who's helping as well. Stand up. Come on, stand up. I gotta do it now or I'll forget later, so even though it's on the list. And thank you to Lonnie Boys for Olivia bringing the food. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you to Ashley doing double duty today, board member and serving. And she's on our cleanup committee and everything else, so Ashley's awesome. So before we go any further, we'd like to start with a prayer, and that's going to be by Joe Zaduni. See, it only took me 3 minutes to screw up the first time. Joe's going to give us our prayer, and then our pledge will be led by Jill Hunt with Buddy Mail. So go ahead, Joe.
Our most kind and gracious Father in heaven, we offer thanks and gratitude for the opportunity we have to meet as a group of business people and community members in this great valley, the Hurricane Valley. We give thanks, dear Father, for all those that participate, those that provide services and food, and for the merchants who stimulate the economy which keeps everything running in this area. We give thanks for this wonderful country that we live in, the freedom. We ask special blessings be upon our government leaders that they might rule with righteous dominion. We ask a blessing be upon all of our first responders and those that might be in harm's way who will provide the freedoms that we so readily enjoy. We ask thy Spirit to be with us this time. We're grateful to be here and offer this humbly in the name of thy Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Make sure your hats are removed and I forgot how to start.
Repeat after me.
Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I didn't know how to finish.
Was it the pledge you forgot how to say? I don't know about you guys, but hearing that many people in this room saying that pledge gave me chills. That's awesome. I love that. We'd like to excuse our president, Ike Turner. He's out of town this week, so we'll have to check his wisdom about asking me to fill in for him, but we'll see him again next month, hopefully. Is there anybody here for the first time? Well, you guys are going to be introduced in just a second, so we'll get to you in a minute. Anybody else in the next table down? Yes, go ahead and stand up as name and name and your business. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Anybody else on this side down there? Start up here. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Stand up and tell us your business.
I'm with Diamond Diva of Utah. We sell diamond paintings, keychains, bookmarks, face masks, eye masks.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Andrea McCoy. I'm with PTP. We do commercial and residential.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else?
Scott Lodge, I'm with FOS.
We won't hold that against you, Scott.
I'm out of law with the Dynasty Medical Laboratory.
Bruce McIntyre, I work for Adam.
Perfect. I think we'll hear from you in a minute too, so.
Derwin Thomas with Ascend Counseling.
you. Anybody else on that table?
Definitely fine with the local pages standard.
Great. Thank you for being here. Go back up to here. Anybody here for the first time?
Danny Davis and Karen Warner, we're with the American Bass Association, and we have brought the region here this year, and we operate the team tournament competitive bass fishing circuit. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being here.
I'm not new, but Erin is new and she doesn't want to stand up.
Come on, Aaron, stand up. Everybody has to stand up.
She's our new designer at Steamroller Coffee.
I'm J.E. Fassel, Sherwin-Williams Company, architectural and commercial. Any on this table?
Kenny James Garcia, Copper Rock Golf Course.
Perfect. They're new members, Rosie, I'll give them that. Anybody else back here? Yes.
I'm Martha LeBaron, this is Madison Kevin LeBaron, we're with LawyerTown.com, and we are a website of businesses, directory of business attraction events, and we're bringing that to American Valley.
Can I make one comment about that? With our tourism board,
No.
and it's really because all of your businesses can be on this QR code that they're gonna put all over town, on every trail, on every restaurant table, and it gimmicks, so when you come into Hurricane, you go, oh, what to do in Hurricane, or what can I rent in Hurricane, or where can I buy that in Hurricane, or what can I see? Whatever it is that you do, can be on there, and you can advertise there, of course, but they're putting every business regardless, so that's.
Lots of exposure for local businesses.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Thank you.
Anybody else that we missed? Okay, we also have, as you saw just a second ago, we have Mayor Billings with us. Appreciate your support here. Remember the city council, the items here? We're gonna hear from the police department in a minute too, so we're not gonna introduce them yet. Anybody else from the city, anybody that we missed? Anybody that's special, not you, Fred, that needs to talk? Our AV guy. Our AV guy. Eric, you want to stand up, take a bow? So Eric's gonna be doing. Long way up. So Eric has volunteered to put our meetings on Zoom. He's gonna stream it. Are they streaming live on Facebook too, or just on Zoom?
We're on Zoom right now.
You've been recording all this, I've been saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't think I signed the waiver.
You know, the mayor can take care of that.
Mayor can take care of that? Perfect. So we're on Zoom now. We'll upload it to our Facebook page later as well. So if you know somebody that wished they could have been here, could have seen me make a fool out of myself, it'll be forever on video. So let them know that it's on there. So thank you, everyone. A couple of announcements. Golf tournament, this golf tournament is our major fundraiser for the year. It's on September 10th. It's a beautiful Sky Mountain course, lovely facility. Don't tell anybody, but we're the best deal in town in a golf tournament. Only $400 for a foursome if you're a chamber member. You twist my arm, we still may let you play for $400 if you're not a chamber member. We'd love you to be a chamber member. But we have teams available. We're almost halfway sold out on teams already. So if you want a team, let us know. Get that in. We have plenty of whole sponsorships available. We have a couple other sponsorships available. Go on our website or look on our Facebook page. You can see the flyer that has all that information on there. So if you have items you'd like to donate for our raffle to help promote your business, please let us know about those. And we'll be doing swag bags that every golfer will get. If you have items that you want to distribute to about 140 or so people in the area, please let us know about those. Get those into us, and so we can get those distributed. My throat is so dry, I'm talking so fast. Plus, I need the caffeine. Visitor's guide. There's some spaces still available. If you have any questions, you can contact Paul Zolman. Paul, raise your hand. Or Lana, wherever she's at. She's always moving around. We'd like to get that finalized here soon. We're upping the distribution this year to how many, Paul? 20,000 from how many? Okay,
We're at 15 right
okay, perfect. So there's been a great demand for those. Those are a great resource. There's some great articles in there, great information about the Hurricane Valley. So if you want to be part of that, please get in there, be advertising. Next month, we're not having a luncheon, but we are having a breakfast, our What's Happening in Hurricane breakfast. So that's where we give members 2 minutes each to talk about their business. It'll be here on the 18th at 7:30 in the morning, from 7:30 to 9. If you want to be a presenter, you need to let Lana know so that she can put you on the list. So we limit that to 20 people, but it's a great way to promote your business. We get to learn a little bit more about your business and what you have to offer as far as a business person. So that will be on the 20th. Thank you. I saw 20 members and I said 20th. Thanks for checking me. I need somebody to do that all the time. August 18th, the third Thursday, same as our normal luncheon time. So, and then I didn't mention thank you to Chris and Kathleen for bringing our dessert. Where did they go? Chris, Kathleen, thank you so much for bringing that. The water, is it delicious? Pick me out a good one, Chris. I need one. So, okay. And then Lana also wanted to thank Becky. What's her last name? How you say that? Brittingham. I figured I'd screw it up, but she helped with the decorations on the table. Don't these tables look amazing? Okay, let's, before we get into the rest, do you guys want to take another minute?
Just real quick.
Okay, so Aaron and Danny are going to take another minute and talk a little bit more about this bass fishing thing.
All right, I'm gonna just share something with you guys. Do you see these two logos on this jersey? You recognize them? One says Bassmaster and this is Bass for Bass Nation. Now what this is these are the most recognized brands in the bass industry. And they're on my son's jersey. He will be fishing the high school nationals out in Hartwell, South Carolina, August 11th through the 13th, all right? Now, that's going to be broadcasted. You can turn on TV and watch that happen. This was made possible through a program here in southern Utah that's brand new, where your youth can go out and participate in it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm here representing American Bass Association. American Bass Association is one of the longest standing bass associations for tournament fishing in America since 1983. Danny is the director of this organization, and he is putting a program together that bridges the gap between the youth fishing and moves them into the tournament adult fishing as these kids turn 16, 17, 18, and he preps them for competitive and the opportunity to basically go out there and compete for everything from money that they receive all the way to prizes and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to just let you guys know we're local here, and we're looking for companies that want to get behind this and support it. This is a great alternative. If your son doesn't play baseball or football, or your daughter, we've got both young men and young women in these programs, and we just want to make ourselves present and let you know that if you have a company and you want to support this organization, you're going to be supporting these young men transitioning into some great fishing, legendary fishing stories. So thank you very much.
And they will be true fishing stories, right? Because they'll be documented. You know, it's not if I got one this big. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So now it's time to introduce our luncheon sponsors for this month. We started doing these sponsorships 3 or 4 months ago, and it's been great. People have really stepped forward and want to promote their business. So this month is FX Industries. We have Will DeCrest and Beth Locke. Come on up. Yep.
All right, guys, for those that don't know me, my name is Will Ducrest. Too bad Nick's not here. I'm usually known around town as the better looking, more athletic version of Nick. And if he was here, I'd point to him, and then you could just verify that.
That's not a compliment either.
Even with this jacked up eye, it's still true. So you should see the other guy. I just want to tell you a little bit about our company. It's FX Industries. We actually started back in 1984. My parents started the company, and we started as a lighting company. And we did that for a long, long time, and then we moved on to some other divisions. We started a powder coating division and a metal division, and now we're doing monuments. And we make all kinds of products, start to finish. Those two products that's back there on that table are stuff that's manufactured in our facility. One of them will roll around the ground and actually pick up goat heads. And it kind of took off on TikTok, went viral. We sold a bunch of them. And the other one's a little tool that you can reach down and pick up pavers for. But we've done stuff all over the valley, all over Hurricane Valley, all kinds of signage. What else? Yeah, beautiful headstones. We laser engraved these cool little flashlights that we put out for each of you guys on the table. So anyways, I just want to kind of give a synopsis of our company as a whole, and then I'll let Donna talk a little bit more about the powder coating.
Okay, so my name's Donna Kinney, and I started working for FX in October of last year, and I moved very quickly from front office into powder coating, and I still help in the front office, which I enjoy, but I have also, with the powder coating, we do a lot of things like gates and signage, like you said. We've done this.
What is powder coating?
Very good. So if you don't know what powder coating is, it's a nicer, fancier way to paint your metal. It lasts a lot longer, years longer. You can get it in pretty much any color. Sparkles, no sparkles, flat, glossy, whatever you want. You can get it in pretty much anything you want. So if you want your gates or your signs or whatever to shine, have a lot of prison or whatever, we can do that. We've done the cemetery signs. We've done the signs on both of these buildings. Yep, the bell, it's beautiful. Love the bell. Like all the brackets on the bell and the bell. And then signs around the city, you'll see them up on some of the storage units. I don't know if you've ever noticed the big plates up and down State Street that cover the holes where the trees, right? We've manufactured and powder coated of those, so it's as simple all the way up to extravagant, whatever your needs are. That's pretty much what we can do.
So Laura, do you want to talk a little bit about the monument division?
Yeah, I'm the newest member of the monument division, and I am really excited to be here. I've been in Hurricane for the better part of 30 years. So I know some of you here, and spent some of my time working for Switchpoint. I've author, illustrator, published a book. I'm working on my second one. So I've had some graphic design experience, business experience, our family business, been around for a few years. But I started looking for work and came across these guys. And the biggest thing that I think that Will was interested in, he wanted to make sure that I could listen with compassion to the people that come in to find the monuments. So I've been accused of being kind before. These guys take it to a whole new level, and one thing I've really been impressed with these guys is we had somebody come in that wanted a job. They didn't have a place for them in our company at the time. There wasn't, but he called up his friends and found this guy a job. Like, I was just like, what is that? And I just thought that was pretty cool. And then Beth the same. She, the gal that I was replacing, even though she had some struggles, she still looks for ways that we can include her as part of the family. So until I get my final date on that headstone, I hope to be part of this company. And we're having a really cool showroom that we're going to be opening up hopefully in this next couple weeks, next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be able to come in and look at the monuments in out of the heat. And then come in and visit me, and don't wait till you have to, because then it's hard. I mean, that's fine. Or if you have to, that's great. I mean, that's not. Oh dear. Come in and talk to me. hopefully plan things out beforehand, like way beforehand, and have a good time with that, or we'll walk you through it if it's not so much. So, thank you.
So, one last thing I wanted to say is, we're located just right down the street from the Instacare. If you guys see our building, you turn to Instacare. We're the very next building you come to. If you're driving by and just want to check out what we do and see all the different stuff, we've got lasers, we've got CNC machines, we've got the powder coating operation. Just seeing what we do and the processes that we run is kind of fun. We give free tours. We're cool to hang out with. So come by, say hi, and thanks.
Thank you, Will and Beth, for all you do for the community. You guys do some great work. And I'm gonna wait till after I need the headstone to come and see you about it. So it'll be more fun that way. So we do have a few new members that are with us today, a couple that are not. So the first one is Dynasty Medical Laboratory Services. We have Bruce and Adam. Come on up. Plaque for you here. You want to take like, I'll say 30 seconds, tell us about what you do, and we'll come to the breakfast next month. We'll give you longer.
No, I'm very excited. Thank you for having us. My name is Adam Law. I was the founder of Dynasty Diagnostics. Recently sold in November to a medical holding company. So we're medical laboratory services. That's what we do. The company we sold to is out of South Carolina, and we now have 10 labs throughout the country. A medical distribution company, so supplies and equipment. And then medical IT companies as well under that. So I work for them now. Bruce helped me start Dynasty several years ago, and so he's put up with me and my antics and bull crap for quite a while, and has been very patient. So he runs the lab here locally. Currently we're in the building right behind Jiffy Lube, 985 State. But we're moving into, if you know where True Audio is, over by the Pepsi distribution center over up by the freeway. We're moving into that here in the next 30 to 60 days. So a little bit of growth happening. We're very excited about it. Very excited what it's going to do. Hopefully for the valley here and for employment opportunities. So thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to be furthering our efforts here in the valley.
Awesome. Welcome to the chamber.
Thank you.
You get a good picture. You have to take a picture with me. I'm sorry.
No,
there's a downside to everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
ERC professionals. Did Joey make it here? Okay, ERC professionals. They've joined, so hopefully we can hear from them later. Free flow plumbing and drains. They're probably out fixing drains and working, so where they should be probably. So Small Business Development Center, we have Marie Bocut, and is it Carrie that's with you? You're even on the program. Look at that. You guys come on up. Thank you, Lana. Vanna. That's what it is, Vanna. So welcome to the chamber.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Tell us what you guys do.
So just so you're aware, there is a small business development center down here that serves just Washington County. And so obviously we are based out of Dixie Tech. That's kind of where our home is, not to be confused with Utah Tech. We're going to stay Dixie Tech. So just to make it that's why they let us into this.
That's right. That's right. It's the only reason.
So, but what we do is basically we will help a business. If you have an idea, a thought, an inkling, you want to go into business, we can help you start your business, LLCs, EINs, all of that fun stuff. Once you're in business and you're ready to scale or grow, we can help you come up with your business valuations, things like that, to get you in front of banks, to go get more money. The end, when you're ready to sell because you made $1 million and you want to get out, we will help you with that sale. So we kind of help you through all of that free of charge. This is all because you pay taxes. Hopefully all of you pay taxes, but I'm assuming, so I'm sorry. But because of that, that's the service we provide. So come up and see us. We would love to help you. Jeff Mather and Cam Findlay, that were not able to attend, are the two counselors. When you call, you will get I'm Carrie. I am the person that you'll talk to on the phone. But also another part of the SBDC is custom fit, and Marie will kind of talk about that for a
So
second.
if you're a for-profit business, we can help you with training, up your skills, up your employee skills, and we also can give you a 40% reimbursement on your training costs.
I did that. It's awesome.
Yes, you did. There's a few of you that I've seen that, but I'm happy to give you my information or talk to you afterwards so I can help you grow your business. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Wait, Marie. Got the picture here.
Thank you.
There's
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you. Welcome to the chamber. Appreciate you. And next one, speaking of while you're in town, we have Martha and Kevin. Come on up. While you're in town. She's a pretty good Vanna, isn't she? Yeah. So, anything more you want to say about, I mean, the mayor gave you a great.
I know, thank you so much.
All you gotta do is say what she said.
She's the reason we're here. She's.
That's
I went to
awesome.
Colorado City's chamber one day and I said, tell me about your business. They told me, we need you in Hurricane. So we are whileyourintown.com. It is a website of pretty much a video directory of businesses, attractions, and events in each specific to each city. And so we're growing very rapidly. And so and we're excited to be in the Hurricane Valley and be talking to, you know, Tokerville and Hurricane, and we're working with the Tourism Alliance group and the city office as well, and we're just pretty much what we are about is just trying to highlight local businesses, and we do that through a couple different ways. We are a videography company, so we specialize in, so we give businesses a really great deal on creating a branding video that we then use to list them on the website, and then they can get, you know, exposure through 3 different tiers of listings, so anywhere from paid advertising down to a free listing, just to make sure you're listed on the site and getting exposure through the traffic that's coming through. And we also have the QR code network, which has been very, very popular, and we're just putting that and distributing those all over the cities, so that when tourists come in and they stop at River Rock and say, what else is there to do here? They know that there is more than just Zion or Bryce or something. They can kind of see what we have to offer, and it kind of is a destination marketing platform to kind of promote each city as a destination and get people to start thinking of us as a place to visit and stay and buy groceries and support local businesses. And so we're doing that, and then also digital advertising is another way we're getting exposure to our local businesses. So.
Welcome. Sorry you had to take a picture
Zach
with
take
me.
a picture?
Yeah, Zach take a picture, I know.
Thank you.
Here's your.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, welcome. Let's welcome our new members. That's great. So next up, we have our business of the month, and our business of the month this month, you may not necessarily think of them as a business, but they're a very important part of the community. This is the part where I get like Nick, I get emotional, because these guys, these ladies and gentlemen do a fantastic job in our community. And it's heartwarming to me to see that our members recognize the job that they do. So if you haven't seen, the Hurricane City Police Department was voted as our business of the month this month. So we have Chief Len Exel here and Officer Dan Raditz. Is that right? Close enough? So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So give us some words of wisdom, Chief.
Okay, well, that's going to be short-lived. I actually only have about a 40-minute speech.
Okay.
And Officer Radich, I think he got like an hour and a half.
Yep.
So, we'll try to get you back to work by the time it's quitting time.
Perfect.
No, first of all, I really want to thank each and every one of you. The city of Hurricane, the police department, none of us would be anything without our businesses. What you do, what you promote, and very honestly, as business, we can't function, we don't have the funds without you. And that's what it is. It's not necessarily just citations.
Part of it, though.
It has more to do with the taxes you pay, and we do appreciate that. And I want you to know that is one of the things that we really treasure. One of the things in my tenure with Hurricane City, and I've been here for a lot of years, and I appreciate our mayor, I appreciate our city council, our administration, because for some reason they tolerate me. I don't know why, but they do. But the fact of it is, I really value what each and every one of you do, whether you're a business, a citizen, somebody that comes here. What we do, we're stewards of what you provide for us, and we try to be the most ethical and physical with that funding that we get. When we look at things, we evaluate it. We do things to make it, to give you the best bang for the buck. I want you to know in today's climate, and honestly, I would never work in another community but this one. We have the greatest support from our citizens, our people, our businesses that you could ever have. We've hired over the last year, we've hired people out of California, out of northern Utah, out of all kinds of different places to come and work here because they want to be here with you. They want to be here because they know you care. And that really does matter. They can do something with a purpose. And that's it. Are we perfect? Heck no, we're not. I wish we could be there for each and every one of you more, but we will do the very best we can. Our city is very supportive. This year, over this last year, we've diversified our department in a big way. I'll tell you, a year ago last March, all I had was male officers. Today I have 3, and they are the most fantastic officers on the face of the earth, and we see nothing but greatness. And we see that changing and moving forward.
3 females.
3 females.
It was implied.
It was implied. And I want you to know, but that's our mayor and our council. They devote and give us 100% support. They've added more officers to us this year, more supervisors. We're trying to get out there and do a better job. I just want to say thank you and give Officer Radix just a few minutes. Thank you so much.
So the reason I get to be here is because I'm our community policing officer, our public information officer, which I started doing that about a year ago, and then we lost some officers, so I had to go back to doing patrol and things like that. We've got enough officers now that I can get back to doing the community stuff and really getting stuff out there. So kind of some of the things that I envisioned doing and we started to do last year before I had to really go back to work we did a Citizens Academy last year, which we had several business members come and participate in, which is just kind of letting people know what we do a little bit. Give you a little better appreciation for what law enforcement is doing in your community, how we do our jobs, what limitations we have, things like that. And so that'll likely be coming up here September, October-ish. So watch our Facebook page for that kind of thing. I personally try to really make a positive impact with the community. There's so many times where if somebody's dealing with law enforcement, it's not a good time, right? Whether it be a traffic stop, whether it be they're having to call us for something bad that's happening at their home. And so my effort goes into trying to find opportunities to interact with the community in positive ways. One of those ways that I personally do that is I make a lot of goofy Facebook videos that go on our traffic tips. And so just to help people realize we're just normal people too. Like we like to have fun just like everybody else. Our job doesn't always allow us to do that when we're interacting with the public, but it's not because we're big, mean, scary people. It's just because unfortunately our job is to enforce laws and things like that. But we're not having to do that. We would very much just like to interact and have fun and have conversations with you guys about concerns that you have or just about life in general. And so that's kind of my goal in our community. And I hope to get to know a lot of you a lot better because I'm still fairly new to the community. I don't know a lot of you people. I'm not like Chief. I'm not a lifer here. I just moved here 4 years ago. So I'm still getting to know a lot of people and really good for me to be able to get to know a lot of business people, because frankly, I would like to develop those relationships and be able to kind of, work on a lot of things as far as the community goes and getting different positive events forward. So, thank you guys for your time.
On behalf of the Hurricane Valley Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to present you this plaque for the Business of the Month for July. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you.
It's for your head.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. That was awesome. I'd like to turn some time over to Rosie. She's going to introduce our guest speaker today.
A beautiful sight from here, by the way. So I have the pleasure of telling you about our keynote speaker. Patricia Jones was tapped as CEO of the Women's Leadership Institute. Now, the Women's Leadership Institute is to elevate the stature of female leadership in the state of Utah. The organization was formed in January 2015 through the visionary efforts of key business leaders to address Utah's deficiencies in the presence of women at top levels of corporate and political leadership. So her background and expertise in the business and political worlds, as well as her ability to engage, collaborate, and lead. As co-founder and former president of Dan Jones and Associates, a successful public opinion and market research firm for 35 years, Jones helped lead and manage the company while serving on numerous community and company boards. Jones is an experienced and highly regarded researcher specializing in qualitative research, having conducted hundreds of focus groups throughout the country for a variety of industries since 1980. Senator Jones served in the Utah legislature for 14 years, serving in leadership positions 12 of those years. That's a lot of years serving. She was a member of the Utah House of Representatives from 2000 to 2006 and was elected to the Utah State Senate 2006 through 2014, serving 8 years there, including serving as the first female leader in either party and either house. While in the Utah legislature, Jones was a member of various committees, including public education, higher education, health and human services, judiciary, economic development, law enforcement, government operations, and executive appropriations. Pat Jones' interests are many, but she prefers to move rather than sit. She enjoys exercising, biking, skiing, playing pickleball, tennis, watching sports, especially basketball and football, reading, politics, cooking, having fun with her children and grandchildren, and traveling. There's one more thing that she missed because I met her. We actually bumped each other over at learning salsa in one of those. So she can dance as well. So her least favorite thing to do is wait in long lines. Patricia was married to the late Dr. Dan E. Jones and has 4 children and 11 grandchildren. Please, this is an honor and pleasure. So please help me with a big hand of applause. Help me welcome Patricia.
Wow, I have to say, I love this place. Just to listen to the presenters, the FX person, I didn't catch your name. I wish I had. Yeah, in the black and white. Laura, when you spoke, I thought the words that you used encapsulated just the connection and love here. And I've already felt it, from bass fishing to monuments. I mean, there's a lot of variety. It's really been fun to see. I've also seen so many construction trucks when I drove in today in particular, just like, boy, the growth here is just incredible. So congratulations on, managing that. And I really do appreciate this great opportunity to be here with many of you who I have met and my forever friends now. The Mayor Billings has been through one of our programs and been in, working with us a little bit. And I've just met so many of you on a business level that I just am really thrilled and honored that you would ask me to present today. I did have an interesting career with Dan Jones and Associates for so many years. We incorporated it in 1980, so that was quite a long time ago. And that business ran for almost 40 years until we sold it to the Cicero Group in 2010, and I stayed on for 5 years. And when that was coming to an end in 2014, my political background, political career also was, because my husband and I were moving, and I didn't know where we were moving, and I didn't want to run and then have to give up my seat. And so both of those careers ended at the same time when I thought I was retiring. And we'd had a home down here for many years, just like so many people do. And I have to say, every time I left Washington County, I just didn't want to leave. I just felt like I need 2 or 3 more days here. You know, I can't tell you the connection that I feel here. So a year ago, I moved down here permanently, and it's just been the best decision that I have made. And I've made many friends, but this connection that I feel here, I think is symbolic and speaks of the other connections in this great part of our state. So thank you for welcoming people like me, and especially myself, to be here. I've been asked to talk about public service today, and I hope this won't be boring for you, because I'm going to mix a few things together, okay? This will be kind of a mixture of the Women's Leadership Institute, and I have to say, after my 2 careers ended, I got a call from Scott Anderson. Some of you may know Scott, the CEO and president of Zions Bank. And I had done a lot of research for them for many years. And he called me in his office and he said, Pat, we are really struggling to attract and retain talent here because of the perception that people have, especially outside of the state, have about the women in the state of Utah. And it's harming our ability to attract and retain people. Our economy was doing pretty well, but there was this perception there. And he cited a recent article in one of the national magazines. And the title was 5 Places Women Should Not Spend Their Travel Dollars. And it was Turkey, Indonesia, El Salvador, Saudi Arabia, and Utah. And it's like, it's just incredible. Yes. And so he said, and he asked me to run the Women's Leadership Institute. Our mission is to elevate the stature of women's leadership in business and in politics. And I had been in both of those worlds. And so I thought it was a perfect opportunity for me. And it's been an absolute joy to do this. The important thing to remember for us is that men are allies and advocates of women. This is the most important message. There are many groups sometimes that pit men and women together. We don't do that. We help men and women understand the value of gender diversity, that we have complementary differences. And you probably have seen that. I bet the police force, right? Officers, yeah, Chief, have you seen that? Some complementary differences in your force. We certainly see that. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that in here. You'll understand maybe your spouses a little bit better. Is that worth it? So you can send me an invoice, or I'll send you an invoice for a therapy. And then I'm going to give you a personal journey based solely on my experience in public service, because you rarely hear about the value and the benefits of running and serving in public office. Mayor, okay? And those others of you who have run for political office, you just don't hear about that. And I always like to talk about that because we all do things for a certain reason. It's usually, how does it, I want to contribute, but also, what does it mean in my life? Okay, so let's move on to the first one about politics. Politics meaning many, and ticks meaning blood-sucking parasites. Okay, having lived down here, I cannot describe the beauty here. And it's almost like you have to walk or ride a bike or something to just see and just absorb it all. I mean, just the contrast of things. But I want you to explain this next picture to me, because I was relatively new when I took this picture. I was driving to my local Carmen's, and I saw this. You know, neighborhood warning, neighborhood watch. This was out in front of someone's yard. And I thought, can someone explain this to me?
Self-explanatory.
It's self-explanatory. Okay, I mean, just an area of contrast. And so today, I'm hoping that we can kind of come together and think about this in maybe a little different way. I just wanted to quickly mention the Women's Leadership Institute. We are expanding in Southern Utah. We have a presence, a big presence here now. And I'm proud of that because of the just the importance of it, as I've just been saying. But really, all of these things are true of what we do. We have what we call the Elevate Her Challenge, which is a corporate challenge. I'd love for your companies to accept the challenge. It doesn't cost anything. We don't ask for data, but we offer help in helping you elevate the stature of women's leadership in your organizations. So if you are interested, there's our website. So let's talk about men and women, how we think differently. Here's one example. This is choosing a shampoo. And the interesting thing is, when men read this, they're like, yeah, you know? So isn't that how you do it? There are so many.
It can also be used as body wash.
Okay. Body wash, deodorant, I mean, whatever, you know, whatever you want to use it for. But there, yes.
Some of us don't even need the shampoo.
Some of us don't need the shampoo. Right. You know, there are so many examples of this when you think about how do men and women, how many of you think men and women think differently? Raise your hand. Okay, that's usually what we get. Very rarely do we find people that, no, we all think about things the same way. Well, there's some science, and it's recent science that shows that men and women's brains tend to, and not all men are alike, not all women, but then it's how the neurons are clustered in our brains. And I love working with neuroscientists with the gender intelligence group because we help people understand why this is. And what this does is it takes away the blame and shame of a lot of men. A lot of men don't want to be pitted against. They don't want to feel like I've done something wrong. You know, what's wrong with me? Or being blamed for things that they didn't create. This is absolutely essential in our work, is we help men and women understand the complementary differences and to communicate. You know, what are the things that actually help our companies when we bring in men and women together and can communicate this.
Just missing that connection with office. That's my excuse. I need that slide for my lady.
Yeah.
Show
Yeah.
say, I'm just missing the connection.
You're missing the connect. So what this means, just as an example, some people like to have an interpretation. Men's brains tend to work front to back. I've had several neuroscientists tell me this, front to back. And so have you noticed that a lot of men, and some of you probably are in this category, where there's a problem to be solved, and you want to get right to the solution and move ahead. You don't want to know the backstory. You don't want to know all the details. Let's just move on. Let's get this fixed and move on to the next thing. How many of you men feel like you fall into that category? Okay, you're like most men. Not everybody's the same. Women, the corpus callosum is a little thicker in women's brains, and it's larger. But the messages tend to go back and forth. So women tend to be multitaskers, right? So we can carry on a lot of different thoughts at the same time. But when a woman has a challenge to be solved, it's like a pinball machine in a way. There's a lot of different points and memories and so forth that the thoughts go through, very simplified. But sometimes it takes women a little, not much longer, but a little longer to respond and to come up with a solution. But oftentimes that solution is more complete and complex. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means we have these complementary differences. So these are some of the things that we talk about, and this is why it's so important when we talk about diversity. I'm on a lot of boards. One of them is the Board of Higher Ed, and there's constantly talking about DEI. You've probably heard that term. And it's important but sometimes you just wonder, what does it really mean anymore? And so what I like to think of is that we all have different backgrounds and so forth, but really to looking at the gender diversity and how we think differently is really important to elevating the stature of women's leadership. And so it gives us a good reason to do that. You will have better solutions, you'll have better outcomes when you think about this and include women and men when you're discussing things. So, all right, the other thing that I wanted to mention is the Zenger-Folkman group. This is just one example, but women bring a lot of new skills or very developed skills to the table. And I like to bring this up. This is Zenger-Folkman out of Utah County. Jack Zenger was on my board for quite a long time. By the way, half my board is men. They're amazing men. But they interviewed 60,000 people, and they asked them to evaluate their male bosses and their female bosses over the period of their careers. And they found that women really perform well on so many of these skills. And these are the very skills that we find that companies are looking for. So this is just another really good reason to be intentional about hiring and developing women within organizations. Our organization has a political development series, which your mayor is familiar with, and we have a career development series. And so the political development series, we start from September through February. This is our graduating, although there's like 3 times that many, just not all of them can go that day. And then and it's nonpartisan, it's nonpartisan. And then our career development series goes from January through August, and we've trained about 580 women in these different programs. And so not only do we have the Elevate Her Challenge, but we help companies develop the women in the pipeline so that they can be prepared and feel confident when they get to the leadership. So I'm going to tell you now my personal political journey. I think stories are the best way to communicate things and to communicate ideas. And so please bear with me if you see some very personal things here. It's, again, just from my perspective. So this is an interesting cartoon. The committee to investigate why Utah is the worst state in the nation for women will now come to order. I can't tell you how true this is because shortly after this was published, I was asked by the Provo City mayor to come talk about why they need more women on their city council. Then Mayor John Curtis, a good friend of mine, is now Congressman Curtis, but he's the one that invited me, and someone snapped this picture unbeknownst to me. But it really is true. I mean, to think about this, sometimes we don't think, we kind of just take things as they are. But I have to give you my background. Politics is social work with power. Oprah Winfrey said that, and this was a picture during the day on the Hill. They have people with disabilities, and it was my favorite day of the whole year. It would be after hours, and they would come in the evening, and it's very difficult for people in wheelchairs and people that are impacted otherwise with their mobility and so forth to get up there. But and so it's optional, but I really loved that day. They've had it every year where you could really get to know people and understand what their challenges are. And then at the time I was on the Health and Human Services Committee, I could take that information back to our committee and be able to express and communicate some of the challenges, the things that would really help people in that situation. So I always, now this is kind of geared to women, but it's really geared to all of you, to everybody, men and women, your children, your grandchildren, your uncles, aunts, and so forth. I always like to think, what if you could, because here comes the benefits of not just serving, but even running for office. I always talk about this for women. It doesn't matter if you win. The benefits come as soon as you put your hat in the ring. Because guess what happens? When you do that, you're seen as a leader. And so when there are opportunities to be on a committee or a board, then who are they going to think of? They're going to think of people, oh, she ran for office. Most people don't even know if you win. They do in probably Hurricane, right, Mayor? But they don't even know that. They just know somehow you're involved. Somehow you're involved. So we assume that people know a lot more than they do. But they do know that you put your hat in the ring. Super important. So what if you could learn how government systems work? Okay, so some of these were my own experiences, you know, going into schools, going to the DMV. Okay, I have to tell you a funny story. Can I tell you my DMV story? I went there, this was before I moved down here. I went to the one over in Hurricane, and I needed to register my scooter. Okay, so I went there the first thing in the morning when they first opened. There was nobody there, not even at the counter. So I was the only person in there. And I waited for a few minutes, and here comes the clerk, and I said, you know, I want to you know, renew my license for my scooter. And she said, did you take a number? And I kind of laughed, like, I think you're kidding, right? Wasn't. So anyway, I had to walk around and, you know, get the number, but I'll just never forget that. That was priceless, priceless. But nevertheless, just understanding how things work. This is my dad, and he, of course, he passed away about 10 years ago. But when he needed long-term care, I had no idea the best place for him, but he needed long-term care. I called some people that I worked with when I was running legislation for seniors that benefited seniors, some gerontologists. And I said, where would you put your father if he needed long-term care? And just that advice, and I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have had those relationships without service in the legislature. And so these kinds of things really help you every single day, just to know the system, how it works, who to call. Having relationships with people is huge. Mayor, would you say that?
Oh, I will ditto.
Ditto.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah, okay. And we never think about this, do we? Okay, let's do the next one. Have new educational experiences. I mean, I was at the University of Utah School of Dentistry, and you know, they had me do this. So I got to know how they practice and train dentists in our state. Building your confidence. A lot of women in particular lack confidence, and it's just because not having those experiences, the more experience that you have, build your confidence. Form relationships with key influencers. You know, you get to know people. I know your legislators down here fairly well, and you know, it's just so helpful. Now that I'm down here, I can say hi to them, and we know each other. Enhance your career. Nothing opens up your career, or just not even necessarily a career, but businesses and acumen and connections is very big. Develop critical leadership skills. When you run for office, you have to think about these things that you have to know. You learn to hone the following skills: being able to speak in public, writing skills, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, persuasion. You go down the list of the things that really are helpful for you as a person. It's helpful in your families, it's helpful in your communities. Those kinds of skills are really, really helpful. And running for office does that for you. Be a role model for and to groom young women into leadership. And I apologize for some of these personal pictures, but you learn your neighborhoods and your own neighbors, because you get to know people. You have to go out, knock on doors most of the time, and you know, get to know them. You attend picnics or community events that you might normally not do that. You all do it. I love your community for that. But it's so it makes you feel so secure and safe to know your neighbors and your police department, for sure. Become more involved in community activities. I was the chair of the fire ops, so the fire caucus, they called it. Yes, they have a fire caucus in the legislature. And I had to go through the fire training. That's when I learned I was claustrophobic. You know, it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. But just some of those things that, you know, opportunities that come your way. Of course, my little grandsons, they're now grown quite a bit from that, but just being in parades and just, you know, feeling that experience of connection with the community. Then, of course, in the schools and more things too. Learning to embrace challenges. Again, a personal story. My daughter on the left, I think she's run 68 marathons, and so she's kind of one of those, they call them elite marathon runners. But her little kids who are now in high school are, you know, learn from her. And I was tending her children one night, and I was putting some in her bedroom, getting something out of there, and I looked on her wall, and it just touched me, because to have a goal, to have dreams, to have, you know, things that are important and challenges, and be able to face challenges, whatever your challenge is, and we all have them, whatever makes you feel fulfilled, is really important to kind of set that bar and think about, what is it that I want to accomplish? And to do hard things, And we all do it differently. There's no way I could ever run. I couldn't run probably to the door. But, you know, so I'm a spectator in this, but we all have some goals like that. And then one of my favorite things was I went to my little granddaughter's in her room, and she had these things. If you couldn't enter her bedroom without being one of these, without abiding by these rules. Be nice, no fighting, I think that's a new way of spelling it. No potty talk, share, no pushing, no telling people what to do, no punching, no kicking, raise your hand to go somewhere, follow the rules, else you get kicked out, and have fun. You know, think about if we had these rules in our political system, would that just be sweet?
Yeah, it's still that way in everything.
Yeah, it should be that way everywhere. But learning the rules of civility, I absolutely love that. You know, the other thing I loved about my service is just finding out who you are. It's just a wonderful way, and you know, you're all serving in your own companies, and you know, you don't necessarily have to run for office to have leadership. But it certainly helps, and we certainly need great people to be there. But some people wait until they're on their deathbed. It's like, okay, who am I? What did I accomplish? You know, why is this important to me? What do I want to be remembered for? Running for office, you kind of do that. That's the process you go through. Because not that you have to know everything, but when you run for office, you're asked questions. And you're having to take stand on issues, and rarely are they black and white issues. They're almost always, you know, nuanced somehow. So you really do explore who you are. And isn't that a wonderful way to think about it? It's what do I think? What are my values? What's important to me? What do I want my legacy to be? That's important. And we want people that have values that we admire. Okay, I have to add this one. I was just at a stoplight, and these guys were sitting on this, and I'm like, okay, they're improvising. They didn't have any seats to sit on, but learning to improvise and flexibility, isn't that one of the new skills? We certainly see that. One of the skills that's really important nowadays is to be able to be, they call it nimble, and to improvise and to think of new ways to solving problems. Very, very nice to know. So, and then to have a chance to make a positive, lasting impact on public policy. You think about it, I always tell people you have a blank slate. Mayor Billings, you probably have had the same sort of experience in your city. Those of you who have served or been on a city council, a school board, you know, you name it, you probably think, and maybe you have felt that I have a time here that I can actually influence how life will be for my children, for my grandchildren, for my neighbors. And that's absolutely true in the legislature. You can run whatever bill you want. You know, so you kind of can think what's important to me and how I can contribute. inspire and engage young people. I worked on financial literacy quite a bit when I was in the legislature. Utah gets an A+. It's the only state that gets an A+ in financial literacy. We really tightened that up, and it was one that was, again, it dates me, Governor Herbert was then the governor. But really, democracy depends on an engaged citizenry. And you can be engaged in different ways, but you really need to support and run yourself for offices, local offices, or tap someone that you feel would make a really good politician, if you will, or public servant. You know, sometimes people don't see themselves in that role. And I would just say, look out for people that you feel would be really good and tap them on the shoulder and ask them to do that. Now, you've probably heard the story of the geese. Does anybody know why they fly in a V formation?
The struggle drop fund, and they created a district was to pull behind it, and the geese try to eat back out of the place, basically, we actually pour vision fund of it.
Exactly.
40% farther because they fly information and they help each other. So they move and they're, when you talk about tapping, I never would have run for office, and especially run for mayor. I was on council, and I really did not have an intention to run for mayor, but I had many people say you need to run. Then they usually, like one person can tell them to do something, and I go, oh, that's a good idea, and they just do it. Women, we don't do that. We have to have lots and lots of that kind of reinforcement first. And when somebody said that after the 50th person, I went, maybe I should. And they said, well, no one else is running. Do we want someone just unopposed? And I went, it's always a good idea to have choice.
Always a good idea to have choice, exactly. Thank you. And I know you knew the answer to this, too. You probably, the rest of you did. I see this a lot in my backyard, just these formations. I always think of this story, because you're right. I mean, they do go in formation because the head goose takes the headwind, and then when that one gets tired, it falls back, and then another one steps up. It's kind of how politics works. There's a time and season for the head goose, if you want to call it that. But I've also heard, and I've tried to research this if this is true, but I like to believe it's true, and that is if one of the geese fall for some reason, it's sick, ill, you know, the rest of the flock will also go down and make sure that part, either to help them or to wait for them, that goose, to feel better and fly back or not. But I love that too, that we are in this together. I just feel so strongly that this is who you are. I'm so glad I put this in here because I think this is hurricane business. Help each other. I've seen it. I felt it today. So here's how you engage with WLI. Like I said, we are a statewide organization. I love this work. Absolutely phenomenal. I think we have just a couple minutes for questions if anybody is interested. And I'd like to go bass fishing. Okay?
Set it up.
Unless you're ready to leave. Are there any questions?
Maybe can you explain the elevator so people will understand what that actually is? When I first heard it, I thought they were talking about an elevator. And I went, wait, what is it? And then I recognized they're really talking about women and how to elevate women in your organization and business. What steps you can take as an owner or as a person within the business to help other people. And it's not just, okay, we're looking at this as a feminist, we're saying, how can we help people so your whole organization thrives? When you have good communication in your organization, just like a marriage, if one person is the only person that has a say, how well does a marriage work? Or a business, the same. When you have lots of good engagement, just makes so that diversity, it helps everyone to do better.
So I'll give you an example. Are you familiar with Sherry Dew? Anybody heard of Sherry Dew? Okay. She runs Deseret Book, among other things. Actually, I think she's moved up and someone else is doing that right now. They just chose someone else. But they took the elevator challenge about the first year. She said to me, Pat, what this has done is it's opened up a new discussion internally in our company. because they started to meet in small groups, like 8 or 10 people, and asked them to, hey, we've taken the Elevate Her challenge. Where are we on these things? How do we measure it internally? Because every culture is different. Every company culture is different. And there's no judgment on that. But you can do great things internally, but it's really helpful to have a template based on best practices that we know if you do all of these things, it will work, right? And so a lot of companies that have taken this have found huge advantage from that. Is just having internal discussions. I mean, there are some challenges that men and women face right now working with each other, and a lot of times they're not talked about. You know, a lot of men feel like they're walking on eggshells all the time. And so, it's so helpful to have that conversation like that in your company and just be transparent. It'll make your employees stay. It'll help, improve the process. It'll make you sell more product. There's a lot of real advantage of it. But does that answer your question? There are about over 300 companies that have accepted the Elevate Her Challenge. It's on our website. It doesn't matter what kind of company, it doesn't matter how big you are. It's just to help your company thrive. And with the talent shortage now, maybe you guys don't have it, but it's everywhere else. I'll tell you, it's really important to think more broadly in looking at that. Yes?
If I remember right, didn't you guys have a presentation recently in Hurricane while you were sponsoring the LPGA tour down here?
Yes.
About the about the Elevate Her Challenge, and you had several companies that challenged that.
Yes, we did. Penny James Garcia was at Copper Rock. And yes, we were the exclusive charity partner for the LPGA. It used to be Symetra's, now Epson Tour. Did I get that right? And it was a great experience. We've had 2 years to have one more. But yes, we had several, including the St. George Police Department took the challenge. So no pressure, Hurricane.
I already texted him the information, so he's gonna take the challenge.
We already live it.
Yeah, you already live it.
And that's true, he's doing it.
I believe it. I believe it. Oh, then St. George is gonna have to follow your lead then, it looks like. But we would love that, to be a partner with you. So thank you. Any other questions? All right, it's time for you to go back to work then.
Boom.
Thank you.
Isn't she amazing? I always feel like I could sit and listen to her for another half hour, whatever. Thank you. So this is just a little thank you from the chamber.
Thank you.
It's actually a bill for your lunch. Hey, it's not. So thank you so much for coming, Pat. We appreciate you. Seriously, I wish we had more time for you. Again, congratulations to the Hurricane City Police Department. Thank you for all you do. Welcome to our new businesses. Glad you're part of the chamber. FX, Will, and Beth, thank you for sponsoring the luncheon today. Anybody want to win some prizes before you go back to work? All right, let's do it. Come on. We need some board members up here. So we have a barbecue set from Casey Brown. No cheating.
Darren wins.
Oh, let's throw that one out. Cheater. Darren wins a winner. Stainless steel cup from FX Industries.
If you guys win that, bring it up and we'll be there and grade whatever you want.
Nice.
Connie?
I mean, with.
Connie Zadunich.
But you get the prize.
Yeah, there's 2 coasters from Zion Trophies that are great. Got an H on it.
Let's see, Mill Creek Flooring.
Shalisa.
Right there. And one more.
Another coaster.
Okay.
There's a name on the back.
Oh, excuse me.
There should be.
Kim Mensch.
Kim Mensch, right there. Okay, we have some T-shirts and some coupons, some gift cards to Great Harvest from Mill Creek Flooring. Speaking of Mill Creek, we have 2 of those. So
You want more?
yes,
Everybody gets a trophy. Casey Brown.
Casey Brown. Right over there.
2-a-con ticket to Wonderland.
This is from the chamber.
Wow. Okay. John Pratt.
You're supposed to draw the So we have water bottle from World Trade Center, thank you.
Ken Parkin.
Can milk crate. Oh, a little goodie bag and $15 to Dairy Queen from Still Ferry, Connie, thank you.
There's 2 of them.
Dan Radich. Police Department.
This one's from Still Ferry also. It's I have no idea what this thing is. It's some little pot thing and another thing.
Don't say pot with the top there. Later, Darren, later. More with shampoo. Jody Barker.
Jody, all right.
You get the pot. So we have some family passes to the Little Mermaid over in the Hurricane Theater. Thank you from the city of Hurricane. We have 4 of those. Or 3 of those. Did you take one?
Oh, there's 4.
There's 4. Rosie Gazelle. Thank you to the city for that. So we can have 4 of those. Amber's right there. You should come here and look.
Okay, I will. Aaron Turner?
We're right here.
All
All
right.
right. Awesome.
Another one? Yeah. 2 more of those.
Little Mermaid's gonna be all month.
Everybody gets a trophy here.
That's gotta be Susan. Susan O'Bara, birthday, Satchel. One more. Winner. Scott Law. Right there, Scott.
All right. Here, we'll go yours. This one's from the win.
$25 gift card to Amazon from me.
Adam Law.
I'll take a few
Oh, sure.
Nope.
We're recording this. Yeah, this is
A
wireless charger from Rainbow. You picked my card?
Yes, I did.
Finally. Thank you. You know what? Let's redo that. I feel bad with it.
Okay, because you requested it.
Yeah.
Okay. You bet. Lamb?
From Diamond Diva.
From Zion Trophies.
Derek, thank you. Derek does our new member plaques, our Business of the Month plaques. Derek does an amazing job.
Hey, can existing members get a new plaque?
Yeah, because I like those better.
Or fee. Yeah.
Do we know what that fee is?
We'll talk about it later.
I think it was.
For you, $300.
Yeah. Okay, we'll discuss it. We'll let you
We'll
know.
just bill you.
Okay.
I just picked Nanette Billings. Do you accept gifts?
You put a card in. Something else. Just throw it in the air.
Okay.
She can give it away.
Let's do Anthony White.
Anthony White, right there.
It's right here.
Okay, wow. this is-
Another one.
Sorry, I thought you were
Will Ducrest.
Will, back there. Yeah, you keep going. Another hat from FX Industries.
Valerie Scott.
Valerie's right there. Here's a hat. Here's a hat. We talked hat. We have one more bag.
I didn't realize you had one.
You're fine.
Thurman Thomas.
Thomas, right back there. It's from Info West, thank you. We have a barbecue set. That's correct. But wait, there's more.
Paul Coleman.
Paul's on. Oh, right on. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you coming. Have a great day. Wait. There's one more up here?
I think it may have been in the fishbowl. What?
What is it, Rich? Oh, gift card, $25 from Rich, Stagecoach Grill. Thank you, Rich. I'll just put that. We need one more.
Put my own card in there. We have Jack at the shop.
Jack from FX.
Oh, there she is. Perfect. Thank you, guys. We'll see you for breakfast next month, August 18th.